I would like to thank Level Up Games in South St. Paul, Minnesota for having us this week. Phone number for South St. Paul is 651-493-9176. Address is 207 13th Avenue South in South St. Paul, Minnesota 55075. They have been very courteous in allowing us to record here. Next time you're in South St. Paul, please stop by for all your Magic, Pokemon, and comic book needs. Hello and welcome to the Measure Up Podcast. Today is Friday the 18th. Dun dun dun. I'm just kidding. And so I'm going to do the reviews today. I'm sorry, I've been extremely busy this week, so I didn't do a Wednesday podcast. That's on me. And tonight I had to go get some stuff for tomorrow, which is going to be my panels, and I'm glad. Please come out to Minnesota Fan Fest. If you hop on, I believe you can still get $20 tickets for both days. You just use I can't remember the code now. It's in my last podcast that I did about the Minnesota Fan Fest. I wish I could remember what it was. I just bought some tickets earlier today. Well, a ticket from my niece. She's going to be my assistant. But anyway, just go back, listen to that podcast. It has the thing in there, and I think you can use it up until midnight tonight, and you get half-price tickets. But it ends up being about $20, I believe, because they have the fees and the taxes and all that stuff that they put on those things, and the handling fee, and etc., etc. Another thing that I'm really excited about tonight is I'm going to be able to watch Alien Covenant. It came out on DVD, and I got it, and I'll be reviewing that and stuff. And hopefully I'll be able to record my podcasts, or not my podcasts, my panels, and they'll be over on my YouTube channel, which is, you just type in Measure Up Podcast, and it comes up, and it's the first one. And then you can click on there, and all my things will be on there. I'll let you know in a future podcast when and where you can see that. And also, all my podcasts are on there. As long as they're under 15 minutes, they go up there. I have to do some kind of thing to get them be under 15 minutes. But I might also put, if I can, the sound of the panels up here on the podcast, but I'll break it into like 4 15-minute little doodads, so you have to tune back in. Might do it weekly, I don't know. We'll find out as we go along here. Let's get into the reviews. So, this week I got to read 4 comic books. The first one was the Steve choice. Steve's the guy that helps out Tony at Level Up Comics and Games. You know, I always call it Level Up Comics and Games, which is what it should be, but it's actually called Level Up Games of Minnesota. If I call it Level Up Comics, I'm sorry, but that's where I go. I don't really buy anything else there. I mean, I can call it Level Up Sodas, because I buy sodas there, but actually, it's to me, it's a comic book store, but it's actually called Level Up Games of Minnesota. So, the first pick was called Paklis, and this is by Dustin Weaver, and there are 3 stories that he wrote for this. Overall, I gave it a 3 out of 5. Their first story that was in there was called Mushroom Bodies, and I gave that a 2 out of 5. I didn't like it, and it really didn't do anything for me. The art is good. Dustin Weaver's a great artist. But that storytelling, I don't know if that was like his first story or writing he did, or it was bad. Then there was a 2-page, like kind of in the middle spread called Sagittarius Star, I think it was called, because it had a little star. I gave that 3 out of 5. It was good, and it was sci-fi, and it was open-ended. So it just gave you 2 pages of an ongoing story, and it seemed to be pretty good. Now, the real shining star of this book was called Amnia Cycle. It goes in about 20 different directions, but the 20 directions it goes in rule, and I loved it. If they made just that in a comic book, I would read it every month. But I don't know if I want to pay it's $5.99 for this, and I don't want to pay $2.99 for other comic or other stories that I don't know if I'm gonna like or not. So that one's kind of tough. Now, Tony had just gotten this traded in, so if you're a fan of this, you can call Level Up and get these. Green Valley #1. I gave it a overall 3 out of 5. This is a Max Landis book. He's a great writer, and he is the son of the other Landis, and his name escapes me right now. And the artist was Giuseppe Caminacola. I'm really bad with names. So I gave the art 3 of 5. It was just average. Story 3 of 5. I've read it before. It's not a really like, whoa, this story is like not gender bending, but like this is bending comic books, and there's nothing new about it. It's just kind of a story we've read before. Accessibility is 5 out of 5. I must say too that in Paklis, the accessibility of all the stories is 5 out of 5 because all the stories are brand new and their concepts on something. I mean, even the concepts of the stories are very different. So I finally broke down and read this Crosswind #1 by Gail Simone and Kat Staggs. Kat Staggs is the artist, and I don't believe I've ever read anything with Kat Staggs' art, but wow, was I surprised. Her art is awesome. Now, I'm a huge Gail Simone fan, so I knew this was probably going to be a good book, but I didn't know how good this was going to be. I gave it a 5 out of 5. Art, 5 out of 5. Looks like it looks like they took pictures of real people and put them in the comic book. It's super cool. It's like that Darker Scanley movie, but the art's different of the people, so it makes it look like a real person was, like they took photographs of these people and then they just colored over them. It's that is a really good drawing style. The story, I gave 5 out of 5 because Gail Simone knows how to put a spin on old stuff. It's like Freaky Friday. 2 people gender swap, so there's a guy and he turns into a girl and a girl who turns into a guy, and they both have like absolutely opposite ends of the earth lives. So I'm gonna start reading this. It's gonna be interesting to see where this goes. And accessibility is 5 out of 5. There's nothing needed. You don't need to know any background about anybody. You just need to know that it's fun to read. Now, the last one I picked for my niece Kira because she's a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, and they have a new ongoing called Dimension X. This one I gave a 4 out of 5. I read #1. The art was 3 out of 5. It was just basic. The story was a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I'm not a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. In fact, I don't really like the Ninja Turtles at all. So for me to actually like a Ninja Turtles book is pretty amazing. And accessibility, this is where it comes into a car wreck. I would say 2 out of 5. You have to seem to know a little bit about what's going on in the main Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe. But you know what? I still enjoyed the story I read. It was enough that you could still read the story, and it really was awesome. I really liked it. And I might read that one too. It was pretty cool. But probably not, because like I said, I'm not a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. So, people are gonna get the tar and the feathers and try to take me out, but I'm sorry. It's a generation that I'm not. I was too old when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out to really enjoy them. I kind of skipped through the whole He-Man, G.I. Joe, Thundercats. None of that stuff really was in my wheelhouse. I don't know what it was. I like them now and I watch them now and I can enjoy, and I know the characters, and I can, except for Thundercats. I don't know any of the characters of Thundercats, and Transformers I know most, but G.I. Joe I don't know many of them. I usually just defer to my buddy John, and because he's Super G.I. Joe, Thundercats, Transformers. That is around his time to shine. That was his age. Plus, my parents couldn't afford a lot of the toys, so it kind of made it less as exciting, I guess you'd call it. It's kind of if you were into Star Wars and everyone else had toys and you didn't, you kind of wouldn't be as excited for the movie because everyone's oh, I got all the toys. Ooh. It's kind of like that scene in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where the teacher asks him how many chocolate bars he opened and he goes, 1, sir. And then the teacher's like, that's impossible. You couldn't have opened just 1. Nope, just 1. It's kind of like that as a kid for me when the Transformers, Thundercat, all that was out and everybody was going ape over it. I just kind of was just kicking back. And I was more into music, and I had a Nintendo Entertainment System, so that was really what I put most of my time and enjoyment into, versus He-Man and all that. I was just a little older than the intended demographic for that, but I hope that doesn't hurt my nerd cred. But I'm willing to learn, and I've been watching He-Man from the beginning on Netflix. I think if it's still on there, I'm not sure. But I've really been enjoying it. That and She-Ra. She-Ra's really cool. I never knew how cool She-Ra could be, but she's actually pretty cool. I like her. So, anyway, tomorrow I'm going to have a special guest assistant, so you might see her in some of the video, and you might hear her in some of the video, and maybe some of the podcasts that I do. It's my niece Alexis. We call her Alex. She's going to be with me, and she's going to be my assistant and videotape all of the panels I'm in, and it's going to be super fun, and I can't wait. Anyway, just remember to go out and support your local comic store, and make sure that you go out. September 2nd is Doctor Who Comic Book Day. Now, Level Up is not a big Doctor Who comic book place, but other places are having big things going on during that, like cosplay and all that stuff. So I implore you on September 2nd to go to your local comic store and dress up like the Doctor or Dalek or whatever, and go get some Doctor Who comics. Some places are going to give away prizes, and just ask at your local comic store and see what they say. Until then, I'll see you later and have fun, and I hope to meet you at Minnesota Fan Fest tomorrow. Please, everybody that can go out there and support this. I really would like to see this become a big thing. Thank you, and bye.